Beerzerker! Alright. Old style Pilsner review. Alright, so this is old style Pilsner. There's a bit of history involved with this beer. This is a beer started in the 20s by the German brewers in Lethbridge, started the Lethbridge Brewery. It was supposed to be amazing beer. Whether people knew what they were talking about back then or not, I don't know what they had to choose from. But this is brewed by Molson now, so I'm expecting it's not exactly the same brew. I mean, there's no claims on this that I know of that it's the identical recipe. Maybe there is if you follow their website or something, or want to do more research into it. But apparently the Six knew how to brew beer, and this is basically a domestic pale lager from Western Canada. Originally from Lethbridge Brewery, now it's brewed in Edmonton or Vancouver by Molson. So, great label. Everyone loves the label. This is supposedly the original label. They've changed it a couple times, but this is the original label. And yeah, this is kind of a beer you either love it or you hate it. And I'm not normally a domestic pale lager guy. You know, I drink them, you know, but I don't get too excited about a domestic pale. So, for the most part, some of the craft brewed ones are good. Oops, I'm a little crazy there. Alright. So this is claiming to be I mean, I never knew it was old style. We always just look at the big red Pilsner. So, I mean, that looks like a Pilsner, right? Look at that head. You know. So where this differs from me is I used to not like this beer, and now I like it. And I don't like domestic pale lagers, and I'm liking this one more, and I'll tell you why. I'm getting a better smell out of it than I do with most domestic pales. It's a little more Euro lager-like. There's some stinkiness to it. There's definitely a dank, dungeony beer, you know. Definitely a unique hop. Let's see, that's not bad, you know. Like when we evaluate this at a certain level, you know, lots of CO2. Yeah, fine aroma. A lot of sweetness in the finish, but like a nice sweetness, and I'm really not sure if they put corn in it or not. But I don't typically get the headache vibe off this beer the way I do off a malt liquor style, and I don't get that harsh bitterness in the back. But I do get sweetness like you would almost get out of an adjunct beer a bit, but even more sweet than that. It's very sweet to me in the finish. It's a little bit. I like the body a bit more than most domestic pale lagers, you know. The hop in the back though is very planty. It's really hard to describe. It's a very unusual hop. I would really be curious to know what hop variety that this is. But it's going down really easy right now. I mean, it's a very sessionable beer, but it does have some stank dirtiness to it that some people hate, especially if they're nursing their beer and let it get down to the bottom of the bottle. Not recommended. But this is a very unique for domestic pale. I mean, when I used to see this when I was younger, I mean, we all knew, or a Pilsner, and most of us would run from it because it was such a strong dankness to it, and it would really go nasty near the end. But now I'm finding there's a lot more, it's a little more complex than most of your domestic pales. But I mean, we're going to put this up against the higher end domestic pales like Molson Canadian and your Labatt Blue and your stuff like that. I'm not putting this up against Lucky Lager. I mean, this would just slaughter Lucky Lager, but up against Molson. And I think it's just a personal preference, really, once you get into that level of beers. And I used to drink a lot of Molson. I liked Molson Dry. And I know there's Molsons out east that we can't get here that I've heard of. wanting to try some of them. Um, you know, but no, I prefer this over Molson Canadian. But they're like a same thing, just a different flavor profile. Um, this is a little lighter tasting and color, and it's a little danker with the hops. But Molson maybe is a little danker with the barley, a little danker in the grain bill kind of. I'm finding I like the grain bill in this better, and I don't mind that the hops are a bit dank, like a bit. It's like you're chewing on a thistle stem or some kind of plant in the garden or something. I mean, it's a 5% beer. It's starting to feel a bit as you get near the bottom. In the body, starting to get a little bit lighter in the body, in the finish. And then, but the hops kind of make up for it with a very bold hop in the back. It's definitely no Pilsner Urquell or any of these other Euro lagers. I typically like them. I would consider them a level up for myself. I don't know. First person, maybe it is lacing. I did pour got myself a big mug and poured a mega head on this. There's like a lot of beers you're gonna lose your head on a domestic pale. I don't expect any head performance on a domestic pale, so I'm getting points on this. Points for originality, points for label, which I don't normally give. I actually really like this beer for a domestic pale. If I'm going to buy domestic pale beer, I'm probably going to buy this. I like it better than Coors, but that's just me. Yep. And I do like Labatt Blue. I find it a little more, it's like it's got this almost the same kind of sweetness, but without the hops sort of thing. And it's, I reviewed Labatt against another beer. I had a versus match with Labatt Blue. But my problem with Labatt Blue is, at least out here, it's really freaking expensive. I think last 12 pack I bought was like $27, and it wasn't that. And I got this 12 pack for 20. So there's 27. Probably came to $28 by the time I got to the till, right? Yeah. Pouring a mega head out of that, you're going to lose some carbonation in the body. It's getting a little bit flatter near the bottom, but like I said, this isn't a beer you want to nurse. It's going to get dirty. But it's those dank hops that most people run from as a part of the beer that I really like, and I like the balance in the body. And I didn't think this was a beer I was really going to plug. I haven't drank this in a long time. My buddy brought some over last year. We had some, and then I thought, well, I better review this one because, I didn't realize it was such a Western Canadian isolated brand. I didn't know it was, I guess it's just arrived again in Ontario. A lot of people out east don't get this beer. Also, if you are fans of the movie FUBAR, pretty good movie. FUBAR II, which usually the sequel isn't better, but FUBAR II is awesome. And they drink a lot of this in FUBAR II. And so that's Alberta skids generally drink a lot of Pill or a lot of Molson. One of the two. Yeah, see, we got head down at the bottom. This lacing, and that's pretty good for a domestic pale. I don't usually get that kind of lacing. I mean, seriously. But I mean, at the first, it's easy to compare it with a Molson, but I would definitely put it a spot up, like a little higher than Molson for me. I mean, that's pretty damn good, I think, for a domestic pale. Under $2 a beer, lacing like that. And, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm here to, as a rate, I mean, not rating as beer overall, I'd say it's probably I I rate out of 11, so I give it a 7. Um, Out of domestic pales, I'd rate it as one of the higher ones, maybe pale lager for me, maybe the highest for a beer in this category. But as for beer in general, I would give it 7 out of 11. When you start throwing this up against some Euro lagers and some Croatian lagers and things of that nature, it's gonna fall way short. Anyway, great label. A little bit of Lethbridge, Alberta history here, and yeah, I definitely recommend giving her a shot if you're into the heavier, danker styles like the what's that Zweich or something with a heavier, pinier hop in a pilsner. Um, then this might be your bag. If you're into lighter pilsners, you might want to. It's still worth a shot for the price. It's still worth buying. And it's my review of Old Style Pilsner. I am a fan, but it's not the greatest Pilsner. And I'm out.